Hello, welcome back. In this lesson, we'll be considering index function in Excel. The index function in Excel is one of the most used functions in Excel. It is categorized under the lookup and reference functions. Now, what is index function in Excel? The Excel index function returns a value or the reference to a value from a table or range. You can use the index function to retrieve or return an individual value, row, or a column. In simple terms, index function returns the value of a cell at the intersection of the specific row and the column numbers. Index is frequently used together with the match function as alternative to the VLOOKUP function. Now, there are two types of this format for index function in Excel. The first one is the array format, while the second one is the reference format. Now, both formats work in similar ways with a minor difference. The array format limits to only one array, whereas the reference format allows more than one array along with an optional argument. This optional form helps to select the array you want to use. Let us see both formats and how to use them. Now, let's start with the array format now. Array format returns the value from the intersection of a row and column number in a table or array. Now, let us see few examples of using array format of index for different scenarios. Now, this data here indicates sales data with a stock description and code. Now, serial numbers, invoice numbers, stock codes, description, quantity, invoice date, unit price of all these items, and so on and so forth. Now, let's apply our formula now. Now, take note, index equals to index. Now, we have index. The first one is array, followed by what? Row number, column number, row underscore number, column underscore number. The second one is what? Reference, row underscore number, column underscore number, and the area number. We'll start with the first one that says array, followed by row underscore number and column underscore number. Now, let's take that. Now, for our array now, we'll bring your cursor here, shift control arrow down, arrow right. That's our array, comma. Now, for the row number let's take, these are your rows, and these are your column: invoice number, stock codes, description, quantity, invoice date, unit price, and so on. And for your rows now, that's 1, 5, 3, 3, 6, 5, 3, 6, 3, 6, 5, 8, 8, 5, 1, 2, 3, A, and so on. White hanging at tie and at T light orders, quantity 6, date 28/11/2020, $2.55. That's your what? Row. These are your rows and these are your columns. Now, for our row now, let's take row 2, comma, column, let's say column 3. Now, close the parentheses, close the bracket, click on enter. Now, can you see now? It actually indicates now, let me increase the cell length. Can you see now? It actually indicates that what? White hanging at T light order. Now, that's the description of the item. Now, is on what? Row 2. Can you see? And what? Column 3. That's what, if I click on this, if I double click here now, it will bring everything under it now. Or if I drag down, can you see now? It has actually bring everything, all the description of the items. All the description of the items from row 2 and what? Column 3. Everything under row, and that's everything under column 3. That's what? For the description, that's white hanging at T light orders, white metal Latin cream, cupid, heart, coat, anger, and so on and so forth. It has actually bring everything under what? Column 3 and what? And what is on row 2. Now take note, let me undo this last action now. Now this actually indicates that what? Row value is set to 2. Can you see it now? Why what? Column value is set to what? Is set to 3. However, our array now is from what? B1 from here to what? To G18. Take note. The value in row 2 and column 3, which is the value in cell D2. Can you see it now? White hanging heart, T light odor, is the return value that has quantity 6, invoice date, unit price. Can you see it now? For instance now, I just want to search for what? Instead of me bringing out everything, I can use this to search for this quantity and stock code and invoice number. I can use this description to start for what? Stock code and what? Invoice number and the quantity it has and the what? Invoice date and the what? And the unit price. We'll get to that. Let's take it one after the other. You can still bring it down. If you double click, if you drag on it here now, it will bring out everything under it now. Can you see it now? So our formula is actually working. Now in this case, our row value is set to be 2 and our column value is set to be what? To be 3. While our array is from what? Cell B1, can you see, to what? To F18 cells. The value in row 2 now, in row 2, can you see this is row 2, this is row 1, row 2, column 3 now, which is the value in cell D2 now. This is cell D1, cell D2 is white hanging heart, T light odor. That's our result. Is our return value. Can you see it now? This is actually our what? Return value. Now I can just highlight everything here, shift control arrow down. Now just return it back now. Control Z. Can you see it now? Now let's try another example. Let's set our row now. This is row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5, row 6, and so on. Now this is our column. Serial number, invoice number, stock code, description, quantity, invoice date, unit price. This is our column. Now let's set our row to be what? 0 and our column to be, let's say our column to be any column. Let's apply the formula. Index, open bracket. Now our array, shift control arrow down, arrow right, comma, row number. Our row number, let's say 0. We set our row number to be 0, comma. Now column number, let's say column 3. Okay, sorry, let's start again. Now take note. For instance now, this is the first row now. Now if we start from this first row here now, it will actually start from this first row when you apply your formula. If you start from this third row now, it will actually start from this third row when you apply your formula. Take note. Equals to index array invoice, shift control arrow down, arrow right, comma. Now row to be 0, comma, column to be 3, close the bracket, click on enter. Can you see now? It's actually what? Now the heading of this what? Third column is what? Description. Now let's try another thing now. let's undo this last action. Okay, let's apply our formula again, equals to index. Now let's say our array, shift control arrow down, arrow right, comma. Now row to be 0, we set our row to be 0, don't forget, comma. Now column number, now let's say second column, close the bracket, click on enter. Now can you see now it's actually bring out what, the heading of the word second column, which is what, stock code. Now if I click on it now, if I drag it down now, it will actually bring everything under the word, the stock column. Can you see it now? That's actually where it stopped, 22,622. Can you see it now? 85123A. Can you see it now? Let me highlight everything here. Now centralize it now. Can you see our formula is actually working now? That's how index works. Now in this case now, row value is set to be what? To be 0. And the column value which we use is what? 2. And for the array now, that's what? Cell B1 to what? Cell G18 now. Can you see? Now all the values in the entire column of what? Column 2 is what? Is the return value. So in this case now, our return value is what? Is column 2. Everything under column 2 is our return value. Now let's try another example now. Let's set our column value to be, let's say 1, and set value for row number. Now let's apply our formula now. Okay, better still, let's apply it here, equals to index. Now array, our array is, click here, shift control arrow down, arrow right, comma. Now row number, let's say row 4, comma, column 1, close bracket, click on enter. 533, that's row 4. Row 4, that's row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. Now let's see everything under row 4 now. If I drag it, sorry, if I drag it to this side, can you see? Cream Cupid Art coat hanger. Cream Cupid Art coat hanger. Quantity 8. Date, invoice date, that's 30th November 2020. $2.75. Let's see whether we are correct. You can see that our formula is actually working. Can you see now? Column value is set to be 1. Now row value is set to be what? 4. The entire value, and the array now is from what? The array is from cell B1 to what? To G18. Now can you see all values in the entire row 4 now is what? Is the return value. Now let's look at the reference format of index function, which is this. You will insert your formula now, index. This is the reference format now. Let's look at this reference format now. Now in this case, our row value is set to be 2 and our column value is set to be 3. Now in this case, our row value is set to be 2 and our column value is set to be what? To be 3. Cell B1. Can you see? Our array is from what? To F18. Cell B1. Can you see? To what? Cells F18. The value in row 2 now
in row
cells.
2, the
Can you see
value
this
in
is
row 2 now,
this is row 1,
in row 2,
Can
column
you see
3
this is
now,
row 2,
which
this is
is the
row
value
1,
in
row
cell
2,
D2 now,
column
this is
3
cell
now,
D1, cell D2,
which is the value
in cell D2
is
now,
white
this is
hanging
cell
at
D1, cell
T
D2,
light odor.
is
This is
white
that's our
hanging
result.
at T light odor.
This
Is
is
our
that's
return
our
value.
result.
Can you see it now? This is actually our what? Return
Is
value.
our return value.
Now I can
Can you
just
see it
highlight
now?
everything
This is
here.
actually
Shift
our
Control
what?
arrow
Return
down.
value.
Now
I
just
can
return
just
it
highlight
back
now.
everything here. Shift Control arrow down. Now just return it back now. Control Z. Control Z now. Now let's try another example. Let's set our row now. This is row 1. Now let's try another example. Let's set our row now. This is row 5, row 6 and so on. Now this is our column. Row 3, row 4, row 5, row 6 and so on. Now this is our column. Stock code, description, quantity, invoice date, invoice number, stock code, description, quantity, invoice date, unit price. This is our column. And our column, our row to be what? 0. Let's say and our column to be any column sha. Let's apply the formula. Our column to be index, any column sha. Let's apply the formula. Open bracket. Now our array, open bracket. Now our array, arrow right, comma, shift control arrow down, row number, right, row number, comma, our row number, let's say 0. We set our row number to be 0. Our row number. Now let's say 0. Number. We set our row number to be 0. Let's say column now 3. Column number. Okay, sorry. Let's start. Let's say column 3. Now okay, take note. Sorry. Let's start again. For instance, now this is the first now row. Take now. Note. Now if we start from this first row, this is the first row now. It will actually start. Now if we start from this first row here now, when it will actually when you apply your formula. If you start from this third row now, you are when you apply your formula. If you start from this third row now, it will actually start from this third row when you apply your formula. Index equals to index array invoice shift control arrow down array arrow right invoice shift control arrow down. Now row to be 0, comma, now row to be 0, comma, close the bracket, 3, click on enter, close the bracket. Can you see click now? On enter. It's actually what? Can you see now? Now the heading of this word third column is what? Description. Now the heading of this word third column is what? Description. Let's undo now let's try another this last action. Okay, let's apply our formula again. Equals to undo this last action. Okay, let's apply our formula again. Now let's say our array. Shift control arrow down. Now let's say our array right, comma, shift control arrow down. Row to be 0. We set our row to be 0. Don't forget. Comma. Now row to be 0. We set our row to be 0. Don't forget. Let's say second column. Now column number now. Click on enter. Let's say second column. Can you see now? It's actually bring out close the bracket. Click on enter now. Of the word. Can you see now? It's actually bring out the word stock code. The heading of the word. Click on it now. If I drag it down now, it will actually bring everything under the word. Click on it now. If I drag it down now, it will actually bring everything under the word. The stock actually where it stops. Can you see it now? 622. Can you see it now? That's actually where it stops. 122 622. Can you see it now? 8 5 1 2 3. Let me highlight everything. Can you see it now? Let me now centralize it now. Let me highlight everything. Our formula is actually working now. Centralize it now. That's our index. Our formula is actually working now. Now in this case now, row value is set to be what? To be 0. Now in this case now, row value is set to be what? Which we use is what? To be 0. 2. And the column value for the array now, we use is that's what? 2. Cell B1 to what? For the array now, G that's what? 18 now. Cell B1 to what? Can you see? G18 now. All the values in the entire column of what? Column 2. Now all the values in the entire column of what? Column 2. So in this case now, the return value is what? So in this case now, 2, everything return value is what? 2 is our return is column 2. Everything now, let's try another example is our return. Let's set value. Our now let's try column value to be. Let's set our let's say 1. Our column value to be row let's say 1 row number and set value for row. Now let's apply our formula now. Okay, now let's apply our formula now. Better still, let's apply it here. Okay, equals to, better still, let's apply it here. Index equals to, now array, our array is click here, shift control arrow down. Array, our array is click here, comma, shift control arrow down. Now row number, right, let's say comma, row now 4 row comma, number, let's say column 1, close 4 brackets, comma, click on enter, column 1 533 close brackets, click on enter. That's 533 row that's 4 row 4, that's row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 4. Now let's see everything under row 4 now. Row 2, row 3, row 4. Now let's see everything under row 4 now. If I drag it to this side, if I drag it to this side, can you see? Can you see? Cream Cupid at coat hanger. Cream Cupid at coat hanger. Cream Cupid 8 at date coat invoice date, that's 30th quantity 8 November 2020. Invoice date, that's 30th 75 cents November 2020. Let's see whether we are correct. $2 75 cents. You can see that our formula is actually working. Let's see whether we are correct. You can see that our formula is actually working. Can you see now? Column value is set to be 1. Now row value is set to be what? Can you see now? Column value is set to be 1. The entire value, and sorry, the array now is set to be what? 4. The entire value, and sorry, the array now is from what? Cell B1 to what? The array is from cell B1 to what? To G18. Now can you see all values in the entire row 4 now is what? Now can you see all values in the entire row 4 now is what? Now let's look at the reference format of index function, which is this. Now let's look at the reference format of index function. Start your formula now. Index. You will apply. This is the reference format now. Let's look at this reference format now. This is the reference format now. Let's look at this reference format now.